Hello, my name's Rebecca Shelley and I'm one of the head teachers here at Ridgeway Primary School. I was hoping to talk to you a little bit about the key features of Ridgeway, the things that make us a little bit different to other schools, in the hope that it will help you to make your decision about which school is right for your child. So I thought I'd start the presentation with what our children say about us. And on this slide, you'll see some quotes from our children. And actually through the presentation, I've included a few other quotes from our children because they know us best. They know what inspires them. One of the children here has said that the way Ridgeway does learning allows you to make links, think outside the box, and let your imagination go wild. Another child also is talking about how much fun it is when we do real things, and what they've learned about looking after the sea and wanting to do more to help. So I'll just get rid of my face for you. So at Ridgeway, we do take a child-centered approach, which means that children and their needs are really at the heart of all of our decision-making. And the impact that we have on children is the most important thing. So we're always looking for that. We see parents and their families as key partners in the children's learning, development, and also their well-being. Everyone is welcome here at Ridgeway, and we celebrate difference and also learn about diversity. We believe that each child is a unique individual with their own ideas and beliefs. And we want children and their families to be able to bring all aspects of themselves to school. So we do welcome children with a wide range of needs into our schools, including learning needs, disabilities, and behavioural and emotional needs too. We've worked really hard to develop an inclusive approach to teaching through understanding individuals and their interests, our knowledge of those needs and any barriers to learning, and using well-researched classroom strategies which support those needs most effectively. We have staff that are trained to deliver a range of nurture provision to support the children emotionally. We also often receive excellent feedback from external professionals who work alongside us. This is some feedback that we had from our speech and language therapist, who often uses Ridgeway as an example of good practice when talking to others. You can see that she said, the school understands special needs and are very accommodating. They support communication work extremely well and understand how this fits into the curriculum. Obviously, we're always trying to develop our approach, but it is good to get this kind of feedback from outside professionals. So we place a really strong emphasis on developing the whole child so that they can thrive in many ways, not just academically, in order to be ready for their lives ahead of them. Children need to have developed socially and emotionally, have positive personal characteristics, respect for others, and a sense of responsibility, I suppose. They need to develop cognitive skills that enable them to adapt to an ever-changing world. And we focus on developing key lifelong learning skills, such as being creative and resourceful, building resilience, solving problems, and reflecting on their own learning, or maybe learning from their mistakes. We're really, really proud of our creative curriculum, which is incredibly broad and balanced. And the academic subjects are linked through meaningful contexts and are taught alongside the lifelong learning skills that I've just talked about. We involve the children in setting the direction of the learning by asking them what they want to find out. And we encourage them to investigate, question, and think. Children are encouraged to make choices about their learning, and therefore they might approach it in different ways. Also, the completed learning often looks really different for each child. We see some more quotes here from the children as well about putting themselves out there and learning how to get through social challenges and how Ridgeway prepares them for their future and not just, what's happening now. Another one of our key features is our use of immediate verbal feedback. And this has to be really specific as well. We know that it's the best way to help children make rapid progress. And so we have actually prioritised this in our teaching at Ridgeway for over 20 years. More and more schools are starting to do this now. But the way that we organise the school day and the structure of the lessons, layout of classrooms and groupings is all done to maximise the verbal feedback given to children. We also have a high number of teaching assistants in our classrooms to enable us to give even more feedback to children, and we encourage peer feedback too. Our teachers don't do written marking after school, which can take a really long time and has very little impact on progress. So instead, they use this time using what they know from talking to children and observing them and working alongside them to plan interesting, challenging learning, which best meets the needs of their class. The extra time that they have to do this because they're not marking is absolutely key. Another one of our key features is our approach to reading. There's a lot of talk about reading phonics only books and trying to make sure that children only learn at the rate that they've been learning phonics. And we do actually disagree with that. We use an apprenticeship model for reading, where adults or more experienced readers read to children. So they would be modelling fluency and expression and supporting the children's understanding of the text. Basically, children learn to read by copying the adults, just as they did when they learned to speak. So they gradually join in, particularly where there's rhyme or repetition in a text, and they start to take over all of the reading as they gain their confidence. This strategy of sharing real books means that the focus is clearly on enjoyment and reading for meaning, and enables children to access more complex vocabulary and concepts than they would if they were reading a phonics scheme book, for example. Children gradually apply their phonics knowledge learnt in class alongside other strategies like guessing from the context or using their knowledge of rhyme and repetition and what whole words look like. Parents are absolutely key to this approach, and we urge you to read to your child, enjoying and discussing books as often as possible. Even if your child doesn't come to Ridgeway, this is a real key thing for parents to be doing. Our approach to behaviour is really different to other schools. Most schools will use reward strategies and obviously consequences when children misbehave. So we have a behaviour approach that's based on understanding the impact of our actions and learning to regulate our own behaviour without the use of rewards. Our approach is firmly rooted in our belief that we all have a right to be safe, happy, and able to learn. So in order to achieve this, we work with the children to create the right environment at school, one that is calm and purposeful and where everyone feels respected and listened to. Most children are intrinsically motivated to behave well, and we do expect this of them. So we focus on giving children specific, meaningful feedback to emphasise those positive behaviours. We find that if the learning is stimulating and challenging for children, there's no need for reward systems, as the learning is its own reward, and children seek that sense of achievement and pride for themselves. So alongside this, we use a whole school strategy called Zones of Regulation, which helps children independently recognise and understand their emotions. And it also gives them strategies to manage their own emotions in a whole range of situations. So if a child makes the wrong choices, adults will discuss this with them when they're calm. And they support them to reflect on their actions and help them to take responsibility by putting the situation right. So we do use consequences such as missing playtime to allow children to reflect, but the main focus is on understanding the impact of their behaviour and how others may have been affected, and also how to avoid this in the future, because we want our approach to behaviour to last them for their entire lives. So if we can give children the tools and strategies to be able to manage their own behaviour and understand the impact they're having on others, then we hope that they will go on to be better people and behave in the workplace and within their relationships. Right from nursery and throughout our school, we do trust children to make their own choices about their learning and about their behaviour. We trust them to manage their emotions and accept responsibility and solve problems for themselves. They take appropriate risks and they express their own thoughts and opinions. And all of this leads to really highly independent children. Secondary schools regularly tell us that Ridgeway children are recognisable for their levels of independence, And as a result, they do make a good start in the next phase of their learning. You can see me again now. So in the next Zoom recording, you can find out all about our early years foundation stage and the importance of learning through play with Dawn Gibbs, our assistant head. So hope to see you soon if you're coming on one of the tours. Bye.